scenes of our favorite TV shows.
Such a good show tonight. I always imagine Johnny Carson at home watching in Malibu and accidentally tuning in my monologue and just thinking, what the hell is he doing? You know, what an ass. People at home are like, what the hell? What we've always said is, let's put a lot of effort into our show. Let's think about things. Let's get to the obvious joke first and then think past it. Alienating vast parts of the country. All right. I love it when a joke completely gets nothing because, well, I've heard from people that they like it when a joke gets complete silence, because then you get to see me try and wiggle my way out of it. Oh, man. We were doing so good, weren't we? I said to my father once, I'm making money off of something that should probably be treated. I'm a big boy. I've got a TV show. If it's funny for the joke to be at my expense, let the joke be at my expense.
Can I have your
Yeah,
autograph?
right. Yeah, that's okay. I think you probably want to aim a little higher than me. Antonio Banderas.
Here you go.
There's no stopping at all. I love that. I wish I could be Conan O'Brien. Some people might think it's easy. I actually think one of the hardest things to do is to play that, I'd imagine, play that dumb blonde role, which is very difficult. And you do it really well. Do you ever... See, I'll show you my style. That's what I do. My style's more like, I'm almost like this kind of guy. Yeah. More like... Yeah.
Right, that's it.
I like to just kind of,
just get your
and then I
foot in
lean
there.
in. I had no plan to get the late night show. I think it shouldn't have happened, probably. It was an accident. And I mean that, I'm not even joking. I believe that the network didn't want to hire a writer to do this job. That still doesn't seem like a good idea. In a vacuum, you would never go and do that. I think what happened was that Letterman surprised NBC. He left. He was angry about not getting the Tonight Show, so he left. NBC never thought he would do that. So suddenly, they had to announce who was replacing Letterman, and they only had 2 months to find somebody. At the time, this was a big deal, and no one knew how to do it at the network, so they went to Lorne Michaels, and they said, can you help us? And he said, all right, I'll help you.
Lorne knew that he needed to find somebody who was funny, who had a sensibility, who would work really hard to figure it out.
He went out and looked at a bunch of stand-up comedians, but thought, okay, they might have funny stand-up acts, but I don't know if they have the sensibility. You need someone who has a sensibility.
Basically, the way it happened was Lorne knew Conan, just had an instinct, a good instinct that Conan would be good at it. What I knew about Conan before I met him was that he was a writer on Saturday Night Live, and when I met him, he was, at the time, a writer on The Simpsons. That's pretty much all I knew, and that he was supposed to be a funny guy.
I think it was as much out of desperation as anything else. I mean, I really do. I think if NBC had 2 years to find a replacement for David Letterman, they wouldn't have picked me. You know, they would have found a safer choice. Before we get going here, say hi to the best band in late night TV. The Max Weinberg 7, led by Mr. Jimmy Vivino.
Thanks for coming.
We looked at a dozen different band leaders, different house bands, and I will never forget the time when we went in to see the Max Weinberg 7. It was interesting that the type of music they were playing was show music. And I remember being at that first audition, and we videotaped these auditions, and I saw sitting there, and they were playing this, I can't remember, it was something that I think they still play, actually, and I can't remember what the song is, and I remember Conan just sort of, you know, sort of getting into it, and I went, these are probably, you know, I had a feeling that these were the guys we were going to choose. It was kind of obvious at that point, as soon as we walked out of there, that it was going to be them.
Can't be
that go on for?
That's the only song we're going to play tonight.
We were sort of inheriting this franchise, the late night franchise that Letterman created, and that show was a comedy talk show, and we knew we had to do and wanted to do a comedy talk show, but we knew we had to do it a little differently, and it couldn't be a complete ripoff, and we couldn't be doing top 10 lists and that sort of thing.
The hell was that? I come up here, I freak out, you do nothing.
What we've always said is, let's put a lot of effort into our show. Let's think about things. Let's get to the obvious joke first and then think past it. Let's try and do a show that surprises people and has some, like, craftsmanship to it and some thought put into it. Like, I really care, as corny as that sounds, I really care about every one of these shows. I want them to be really good. When we have one that's not that great, my check is still the same, but I'm very depressed. I want it to be really good.
Experience The Lion King on Disney DVD for the first time ever. Critics say the king of animated features has just become the king of DVDs.
The king has returned.
The first ever digital presentation with enhanced surround sound, featuring a newly animated song by Sir Elton John and Tim Rice, and much, much more. Wow. The Lion King Special Edition 2-disc Disney DVD for the first time ever, October 7th.
What do you think? It is so cool.
It's you, honey. Mom, in honor of your very first university apartment, we should celebrate with a real meal. I'm calling Swiss Chalet.
Rotisserie chicken, vegetables, salad. Swiss Chalet's a real meal, ready when you need it. This fall, our chicken and rib combo's back, featuring slow-cooked garlic mesquite ribs.
That delivery guy was kind of cute.
And I've got his number.
Life should taste as good as Swiss Chalet.
Tonight on Star Bio.
The truth is we aren't really public figures. You know, there is that argument. You can argue it until the cows come home, but the truth is a public figure is someone that we give our vote to.
Star Bio, George Clooney. Tonight on Star.
I'll do anything to stay young looking.
Beauty rules in Hollywood.
Delve into the darkest realities of celebrity life.
I have cooperated with the police department. When I fall short, the world sees it.
The High Price of Fame, a 7-part series, Mondays on Star.
Move on quickly. What if I didn't tell any jokes? We didn't bring it just for an hour. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That would suck. Britney Spears admitted she is no longer a virgin in an interview with W magazine. She said, yeah, true story, yeah. Meanwhile, Christina Aguilera admitted she's no longer a virgin in Duh magazine. I mentioned NFL, and a guy over here was like, yeah, I'm a man's man. And there are some guys, you mentioned chest, and they're like, yay! NFL, yeah! Dungeons and Dragons, super! I used to do monologues when I was a kid. We had a mirror in our living room, seriously, and I used to go and I used to love to perform in front of the mirror. So this is just an extension of my sad childhood, that I get to do this.
Monologue is really grueling. Like, I think during weeks off, those guys don't watch the news or read newspapers because it's a drag every morning to wake up and know you've got to, you know, bang out all these jokes.
You have to come up with stuff every day. You have to book guests for every day. You have to be ready. You know, you only have so much time in the day to get it ready. You know, there are other shows that, you know, have weeks or have a lot of time to write what they're doing, you know, or prepare and rehearse. And we have, you know, we get here at a certain time, and we have one day to do it. And, you know, if it's, however, by 5 o'clock, whatever kind of shape it's in, that's kind of what you're going to see at home.
I would love to say that I just look at the newspaper and funny things come to me. Truth is, we have 3 writers who are very funny, who are great monologue writers. So I usually start with pretty good material. Didn't I say backstage that one would tank? And you said, no, it won't. Do it. So where are you working tomorrow? I'm just curious. No, I don't have the authority to. Oh no, he's leaving now. Bye. He'll be back.
I don't try any jokes on. I just, we make Conan try them all on in here to, like, a crowd like this. Absolute, it's usually quieter. So, and then we're like, well, I guess those will work. Get out there, and then we all run and hide. We actually have sandbags that we jump behind.
Bring him back. There he is.
Usually the ones you think are going to do great, sometimes they get nothing, and then the ones you think are really bad, the crowd loves, and then you say, okay, this is an imprecise science.
I've heard from people that they like it when a joke gets complete silence, because then you get to see me try and wiggle my way out of it. Ed Kelly, the man who introduced America to Cool Whip, died at the age of 86. Yeah, earlier today he was laid to rest and then topped with berries. Which, oh God. Oh man. Oh man. We were doing so good, weren't we? The most fun that I have in the interview isn't telling the jokes, it's playing around in between the jokes. To me, that's how I personalize it, or that's how I think I make it mine, is that I like to jump around like a monkey, sneak up on the camera, hiss at the lens, growl like a cat, pretty much do things that I always imagine Johnny Carson at home watching in Malibu and accidentally tuning in my monologue and just thinking, what the hell is he doing? You know, what an ass. Some of my favorite comedians are Jack Benny, was a great example. Probably one of the greatest American comedians of all time, who was always the butt of the joke.
Conan's a self-deprecating kind of guy. I mean, that's his personality. So I think that, you know, look, at the end of the day, he brings his personality to the show, and that's what makes the show work.
Many times, you know, we'll tell the guest, here's a funny thing you could do, you know, to insult me, and then I can just turn to camera and look a little hurt or bewildered. Those are some of the funniest moments. I'm a big boy. I've got a TV show. If it's funny for the joke to be at my expense, let the joke be at my expense.
So what's interesting is you see, you know, he's self-deprecating, but then if somebody's sitting in this chair talking to him and they go after him, the audience won't put up with it. They won't take it. You know, they'll go after the guest. But if he goes after himself, they like it.
For you at home, that was a glimpse of my senior prom. Air Supply playing and me dancing alone. In this suit.
Why won't they love me? Why?
It's all about self-esteem. I have none, but I'm saying if I know that that's what it's all about. I'm going to try and work a little more of this into my life.
Yeah,
it doesn't look right when I do it, you know?
No, but you got to keep your shoulders in there. You can let your shoulders guide you.
I'm feeling it now.
So you got it.
I still look like an ass. Early on, when I first got the show, I went to some event. There was a bunch of people there, and one person asked for an autograph, and suddenly everyone was like, Conan, I want one too, I want one too, I want one too. So I was like signing them, and then I was later on, like hours later, leaving the event, and I saw 2 of them in the gutter blowing away. I think any young person figures out very early what it is that they can offer the world, what it is they have, what's their chip, you know, and then they start developing it. And I think I was in the 2nd or 3rd grade when I realized I can make people laugh. That's how I make friends. My friend Eddie Hunter is friends with me because I made him laugh. Or my friend Stephen O'Neill is friends with me because I made him laugh.
Nice.
I said to my father once, and he said it was true, I said, I'm making money off of something that should probably be treated. I wear one of those 1920s bathing suits that's one piece. And I wear a straw hat on the beach, and I go, hello there, fellows.
Some stuff you have to do way in advance. Like we do a thing, new stamps. We make a new series of stamps. We have to write those 2 weeks in advance, because then you have to get them to the graphics person, and they farm them out to illustrators, and it's a lot of lead time.
Next up is the Senile Dick Clark series. senile Dick Clark series. There's Dick leaving the stove on right there. There's Dick telling someone he's Cher. There's Dick hosting the New Year's Eve countdown naked. And my favorite, Dick forgetting to sleep in his anti-aging chamber right there.
Other stuff like Clutch Cargo's The Moving Lips. Since those are usually topical, we can write that day.
Sometimes I just wish America had a strong leader, a man who wasn't afraid.
Don't you worry about it, I'm your strong leader. We got a strong leader right here.
Oh my God,
I'll take care of you. Put me in charge.
Schwarzenegger, everybody.
Oh,
There's a power to putting a lot of passion and effort into something just because. And it's like that Field of Dreams movie. If you build it, they will come.
I have a great life, but I feel like I should be making a difference.
Writing a story about drugs on the street.
What do you want to know? That reporter is a liability.
I don't want to do it, I have to do it. If I was to be intimidated, that means they've won. And they're not going to win.
Kate Blanchett. Veronica Guerin. Starts Friday, October 17th.
During light flow, a tampon can be uncomfortable, so you try switching to something else. Now discover new OB Silkies, comfortable protection designed by a woman gynecologist. Thanks to its unique silky cover, OB Silkies is easier to insert and remove, and OB tampons expand widthwise for unsurpassed personal fit protection. Feel comfortable choosing a tampon every day of your period. OB Silkies, the most comfortable OB tampon protection ever. Know yourself.
The new Echo hatchback from Toyota. What goes in the hatch is up to you.
The difference between natural and stay natural? 16 hours.
New Stay Natural makeup. A whole new kind of color stay. Feels lightweight. Covers flawlessly. Won't rub off. So you stay naturally beautiful for 16 hours.
If I were any more natural,
You'd be blushing. New Stay Natural makeup.
only Revlon makes it. Only you make it unforgettable.
Yeah, get him! Why? You gotta get it together. Hi, I'm Conan O'Brien. This is my gorgeous studio where I've done the show for about 10 years now. This is the desk, which I sit at. It looks like wood. This is actually developed by NASA. This is a high-density foam. It's incredible. It's lightweight, compact, and this desk itself is worth about $10 million. This is the actual furniture, which it's a recreation of what I have in my apartment. It's gorgeous. Many celebrities have sat in this chair. And then we boil it afterwards because David Hasselhoff, that guy's been around. This is where, just before the show, we bring in prisoners, old people with nothing better to do, disabled children. We fill the audience, and then they sit here for an hour, and sometimes they laugh. This is where I stand for the monologue. See that little star on the floor? Can you see that? That's called the magic star right there. That's where I stand and do my monologue. These are the drums that Max Weinberg plays. This is where all the horn players are. Jimmy, the guitarist. This is my dressing room. Got all my, this is where we have meetings before the show. That's my picture of Abraham Lincoln after he was shot, dying. I like to look at that sometimes before I go out and do comedy. Reminds me that things aren't that bad. So here's a guitar that looks like me that a fan made. It's either me or a young Ron Howard. Hank Williams Jr. was on the show, and he gave me this guitar and signed it. And the only problem is it's a really cheap, crappy guitar. So right over here, all my stuff. Everyone's got to have a Colonel Klink doll, you know, standing by. Books, shirts, stuff that fans give me, lotions, various creams, balms. Will this never hurt? It's always good to... That's nice. This is where we do hair and makeup. This is the wig that I use when I go outdoors so that I'm not harassed by fans, because I've become very popular in this country. So I usually wear this when I walk around. This is Kelly. She works at the show.
Hi.
There's no truth to the rumor about us. Not true. That's the story. Okay. I carry these around with me wherever I go in case an interview should break out. Pretty nice. There's some people that work on the show doing what they do best, sitting around, doing nothing. Look at that. Never worked a day in his life, but he's got a union. It's the best thing that ever happened. You and Miss Mian Regis Philbin, heroin addict. You'd never know it. We'll go this way, still holding the chair. This is the cowgirl outfit that I wear sometimes when I'm walking the streets. If you ever see me wearing a cowgirl's outfit, it's just something I like to do occasionally. Look at this. This is where it all happens, baby, right here. This is the dark room where all the magic happens. Okay, it's boring. What do you want? It's a TV control room. Well, that's about it. I hope you've enjoyed the tour. It's been a waste of my time. I hope it's been a waste of yours. This is Tom Brokaw saying good night and God bless. Is this your lady right here? Hey, how's it going? Oh, hug, no. Okay, I think you and I had the better sexual chemistry, frankly. He's like, all right. You've been calling me, haven't you? All right, folks, we have a great show tonight, and I've never come out and said that before, I swear to God. The first year when most of the press on me was, why doesn't he die? Someone kill him, please, you know. I think Canadian TV Guide gave us this great review and, like, put me on the cover right away. And I'll always be grateful to Canadians. They're smart, they like things that are interesting, and I think there's something inherent in Canadians, which is they root for the underdog, and they don't have preconceived notions. They decide for themselves. And so, you know, they were a huge boon to me the first season, because I'd leave the show at night, and, you know, it's depressing. It's hard work, and things weren't going, and there'd be all these people from, you know, Vancouver or Toronto or Montreal downstairs, and they'd have made Conan shirts, and they'd be telling me how much they like the different bits, and I remembered thinking, hey, maybe we are onto something. Now, last week I made a joke in the monologue about Anna Nicole Smith. Part of the joke was I said she was as fat as a whale. Yeah. Well, it got back to her. Now she's furious, demanding I apologize to her in person, so let's do that now. Here we go.
There's a fine line between doing jokes in these situations and being disrespectful, and you know, it kind of is our job to walk that line. And, you know, if we cross the wrong side of it every now and then, it's possible, but I think we do a good job of sort of walking the line.
The hell's that guy talking about? Honk. Alienating vast parts of the country. All right. The worst instincts in television. La 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 la. It's my job to have a funny interview with whoever sits in that chair. And so if I come out afterwards and I say, you know what, it's the guest's fault. That guest is a lunk. That guest is stupid. That guest doesn't know how to speak. I'm not doing my job.
I do think that guests come here and have a good time, and we really try to make it that way. We try to make it so they enjoy it. We try to make it so they have a good time, and I think it pays off. I think people who've done the show, with rare exceptions, and I'm not even sure who the exceptions are, want to come back.
You're so thin and handsome.
Well, what are you going to do?
And everything.
Work out.
Good for you.
If the ladies like it, I do it. That's my motto.
This guy's good. You gotta admit, huh? I was gone, and then suddenly I was here. Wing!
I like how you're like Popeye. You're like Popeye in a German techno club. Arr!
There are two huge misunderstandings about me. One is people think that I'm like 5'9" or 5'10", and I'm about 6'4" and a half, 6'5", 6'5", 6'9" if there's mousse in my hair. So that's a big. The other thing that people don't get about me is they see me on TV and they think I'm just this happy-go-lucky, silly person when I take the show really seriously.
We do a show that we think is a good show, a funny show, and we just go with our instincts, and it seems to have paid off.
In the very beginning, people would say, you can't do this, and you're no good, and I just remember thinking, I'll just do it somehow. And I just kept going, and the thing that saved my life is that we had to do a show every day. And so I didn't have that much time to wallow in, oh my God. And whenever I would start to get down or get depressed and think, maybe we're not going to make it, someone would say, oh, you're on right now. And I'd have to go out and do it. And there's no time, when you're doing one of these shows, there's just no time to think about it. You just do it. This is my studio. This is where I do this show. I'm more comfortable in this space right now than I am in my bathtub at home. This is where I like to be. My belief is that hair is the most important component for having a good television show. I started cultivating my hair at a very young age, because yes, I have genetic gifts with my hair, but you can't just stop there. I put a lot of mayonnaise in my hair, chives and paprika as well, more for flavoring than for appearance. I'm waiting to be approached by the Clairol people, but I haven't heard a word. I got an offer from the Breck shampoo people, but it turned out it was for their line of animal shampoos. I think my hair can beat anybody's hair in the business. It's as silky, you can't feel it, because you just came from Toronto, but this is very luxuriant. It's got a silkiness to it. It's got a malleability. People always want to know, what does Conan do in the commercial breaks? I often leave the studio while the band's playing, go into my dressing room and just fondle my hair. I sleep in a hairnet at all times so that my hair isn't mussed. If you were to waken me at 4 in the morning, I'd be wearing a woman's hairnet. I look like I just came from a Los Lobos concert.